YouTube Studio. No, it's check. Okay, stop botting, please. I want to start the stream in a way that like is productive. Maybe okay, cool. Somebody dipped. I want to make sure it's going well. It's a little behind. Yeah, apologies. I'm gonna start talking in a bit about the remaster. I just want to be able to respond in the chat. Not that, or like see if people have questions. That's the whole point.
Breaking news, Donald Trump receives the word.
Yep, good stuff.
Breaking news, Donald Trump receives the word.
Yep, good stuff.
Breaking news, Donald.
Okay, so I just want to make sure it's like okay. All right. I think it's fine. There was a message that prompted that I'll probably have to figure out why that was the case. I might try restreaming in a bit, but in the meantime, yeah, I think I'm good. Let me... Yeah, was that Marcelo? Was I streaming on Marcelo? That's the great question. Yeah, it is. I know. Believe me. It's boo-boo. Yeah, I gotta stop bad habits. Okay. So, now that I'm here, let's talk about it. Let me turn on my monitors. Make sure it's decent placement so that it like comes through well. I think it's okay. One sec. When I set these monitors up, they weren't or I didn't angle them well, so I'm gonna play it over the track real quick. So let's do that. lights will shine upon you. Your aura, your beauty is above you. I guess I should have told you, if only you would listen. I guess I should have seen it, if only you would glisten. I heard you're moving forward, you never wanna miss it. If I keep on moving backward, I won't ever get to witness. A part of my heart keeps getting crisper with thought. Oh, with the drizzling feeling from my teardrops fall like the rain. And only the league, but in hindsight you're far away. I waited too long now, my wish is just down the drain. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to talk about. The first one is gain stage your instruments correctly. I'm pretty sure this is gain stage poorly. The solo, a lot of my album recordings are just like me feeling musically inspired and then just like going right into the record. But ideally, when you do recording, or I'm just gonna make a new recording real quick. See if is it armed? Let me bot. Also, when you're recording the buffer size, you usually want to do a lower one for less latency, and then you increase the buffer size for when you're doing, what do you call it, when you're just doing playback and just production. So I'll do 120. I'm pretty sure I usually do that. Record. Okay, it was working. So yeah, usually around -8 to -12. -8's like the peak of what you want, and -12 is like, that's like the range for what you want your vocal coming through to. Eventually you'd add EQ, you'd shape whatever sound, get rid of any unnecessary low end, boost presence, boost any clarity, sharpness, or get rid of any punch that usually muddies it. Like the between 200 to 0 hertz, it like, that's where you really kind of want to chip away at the vocal, or at least the EQ portion. So I'll kind of show you what I did on Aurora. Let me pull it up. So yeah, kind of got rid of any unnecessary low end that just like takes up space. That's like the best way I can describe below 50 hertz, or like, it just feels like unnecessary noise, and it's meant for like low end instruments. So like the kick, so it punches through the mix, or it provides that low end. But on the vocal, you kind of want to shape it. So ideally, just I completely get rid of it. Then I kind of cut into the punch so that there's still a little bit of weight, and then I kind of scoop out the mid range. So like this is like where the boxy frequencies are, and I try to kind of do a measure out of whatever is like after my initial low end EQ adjustment. I try to take out any type of unnecessary boxy frequencies, and then I'll boost like clarity or presence. So this one, since it's a vocal chain that consists of a lead, a half pan reduced vocal, as well as two fully pan vocals. So it already kind of has a lot of dynamics, and I didn't feel that I needed as much boost for it. And yeah, so towards here, like you can boost clarity. I usually, if with this song particularly, I wanted the crash to really move the song. That was like my initial mix. That you can listen to it actually right now. It's on Spotify. It's Aurora, and yeah. But that was the goal. Was to I'll show you too. So let me pull up the So the goal was to make sure that the drum had a lot of presence, like it really cuts through in the most sensitive parts of the ear, which is like the 1 to 4K frequency. This is like boxy presence. This is like clarity slash sibilance presence, more closer to 4 to 7K. And then like the sibilance harshness region is around 7,000 to 1,000 hertz. And I'll show you what I did. I was so OCD when I'm still am. That's an issue in itself, but let me show you. Nobody really talks about this, but based off of what my vocal is, I kind of concluded that the most sibilance that my vocal gets is around 76,050 hertz. So I use that kind of as a gauge, and you have different options for how it de-esses. And I use my ears, like, do I want it to just like go directly through? So I'm kind of like scooping it out, or am I kind of like bringing it more closer to the edge? Like that's what it does essentially. This is like, it's kind of like a similar EBQ move. So when it's around that frequency, it's either ducking or it's pushing it to the side. And I kind of prefer this one more. I've been doing that for most of my projects, unless like my ears tell me like, hey, I need to get rid of unnecessary high end. And yeah, that's what I usually do. Threshold is like the ceiling, how much it's not going to de-ess more than negative 34.2 decibels. And then max reduction is like, that's the max it's going to get rid of all that unnecessary harshness. And I love de-essing vocals. It's pretty satisfying. I'm somebody that like, I hate a harsh vocal. I think it sounds like unnatural in a way. And yeah, it's something to know. But yeah, let me get back into it. I was talking a lot about recording, but I mainly came on here to talk about the master. So essentially what I did is, let me pull this up. My initial bounce consisted of a low end range with the drums that was like right here. So you can hear the difference between when I alternate between the two. And like that's something that you should look into when you're mastering music. You want to shape whatever the artist's initial intention is by emphasizing what's not already present in the mix. So I know I said the presence is here in like the 1 to 4K region, but the kick I felt didn't drive the song enough. Like I was so adamant, and this is something to know when you're mixing, is don't be so pressed on having to get your guitar heard that you forget to shape every other instrument. Like I know there's a big portion of this song is the solo, and I wanted the notes to be heard on it for the most part, but like you shouldn't be afraid when you're at your final mix to, and this is what I wish I would have known then, is like once your mix sounds good, it's like what is the final polish of what it needs. And I'll play a loop of the chorus actually maybe I'll do the bridge. So yeah, I'm gonna play through the bridge. This is the initial one, sort of. The solo's boosted, so it might sound a little bit different, and I'll explain why I boosted the solo. My heart keeps getting crisper with auto with a drizzling feeling from my teardrops fall like the rain. I need you, but in hindsight you're far away. I'm ready to yawn. My wish is just down the drain. So yeah, reason I did that was I wanted a pillowy sounding kick. I'm so adamant about something that sounds like it has cushion to the song. But what I didn't understand at the beginning was that it needed that the not only unintelligibility, which I consider to be like the under 100 hertz, but it needed more punch. So what I did was I kind of brought this up. So it added a little bit more punch, and it sounded like the kick was driving the song rather than the kick's buried and it's kind of atmospheric, and then the crash moves, the song more rather than it's more cohesive essentially. And yeah, don't be afraid to mix the low end. Like you gotta learn what it sounds like, unless it's just like you're guessing, and you don't want to guess when you're mixing. So yeah, the initial one, this one's gonna have more drive in the kick, so I'll play it through. My heart keeps getting crisper with auto with a drizzling feeling from my teardrops fall like the rain. I need you, but in hindsight you're far away. I'm ready to yawn. My wish is just down the drain. My heart keeps getting crisper with auto with a drizzling feeling from my teardrops fall like the rain. I need you, but in hindsight you're far away. I'm ready to yawn. So the cool thing is it also adds a little bit of body to the snare. You're adding low end, and it has a kind of like a chain effect reaction that even though it's not really affecting this region, this snare sounds like it has more body in it rather than it's like a papery snare. So I'll play it real quick just so you can see. So it's like my heart keeps getting crisper with auto with a drizzling feeling from my teardrops fall like the rain. I need you, but in hindsight you're far away. I'm ready to yawn. And it's what you're looking for. Like initially I wanted the drums to sound choppy with Aurora. That was kind of the goal because I'm not a great drummer. And yeah, I wanted it to sound like somebody who didn't tune their kit well. It's not a good tuned kit. I didn't know how to tune my drums well then. And I wanted to kind of emulate that. So it sounds like more washed out. Versus the newer version is I wanted not only the kick to drive the song more so it like doesn't lose energy, but in doing so it adds more low end to the snare, so it sounds more like a note rather than just like a sound. And I think that's important, is knowing what you're doing is every adjustment is always musical. It's not just like you're moving frequencies to move frequencies. It's, am I moving this to shape a note? Am I moving this because I want it to be noise as like a, as like ambience to the song rather than like something that is cohesive. So yeah, going forward, I did multiple remasters on this song because it's probably my favorite song that I wrote because I lived a pretty hard experience to write it, to say the least. But yeah, I got inspired to remaster it after listening to a song called High and Dry by Radiohead. And what's cool about that song, there's a lot of things cool about that song, but the solo, they double it. I didn't double my solo, but they kind of like boost it. It starts off with a lead that's not fighting the vocal, and you can kind of hear it. And they're just doing these like little do 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 do, or like these little small little arpeggios slash, you know, licks essentially before they get to the main solo. And then when the main solo comes, it like lifts. It's like dun 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 dun. I think that's so cool. Is like it kind of lifts. And when I listened to my song initially, it's like it sounded like somebody who was complacent with how the solo dynamics went, but there's not really any lift. So what I did was I got inspired by High and Dry, and I'm still working on the remaster. It's not like I want the solo to maintain its originality, which is to like, I want every note to be heard. And what I did here was initially it was at negative 1.9 decibels, and I pushed it once the bridge ended. So I'll kind of play. And yeah, obviously I could play through the solo. People wanted to hear it, but more importantly, I'm trying to teach when you're transitioning from one section to another, like adding a bit of dynamics helps the listener know that a change is coming. And by raising the volume of the solo, it kind of informs the listener that, okay, this is it. Like, this is the song. Like, my wish, literally, I say, my wish is just down the drain in the song, and I just start soloing. It's like, and it's not that I don't like the original master, because it sounds very conservative for a song that's like not really conservative. But yeah, it's just important to know if you're making music that you can use automation and dynamic changes to your advantage through different sections of the song. That's what I'm trying to teach. And I didn't do that initially. It was like, yeah, I like the way this kick sounds. I like the way the solo sounds. It's fine. But when I really went back and listened to it after letting one of my friends who's very musically wise listen to it, he was like, yeah, like I like it, but like he mentioned that this part, like it needed a chord change. And I didn't think I needed it initially, but I went along the mindset of, oh yeah, the reason that was kind of underemphasized was I was so obsessed with they have to hear the rhythm guitar in the background rather than the drum and the kick driving the song. So I'll gonna play it. So let me show that. It's a little bit working. Okay. Let me play the bass.